Hey, Scruffy. I'm a little early today, huh? Well, that's a pathetic meow. That mean you're not hungry? Yeah. So Scruffy got some extra kibble today. I finally refilled the kibble containers. And per tradition, I usually give him some extra after I'm done filling the containers. Okay. Let's put the glove on. So it's a really nice day today. I think it was very similar to yesterday. I think the wind is not quite as strong today. But yeah, there was some banging again when the wind picked up. But yeah, temperature's still in a nice zone. A little on the cooler side, though. I think it was a little warmer today. And then yeah, the wind tad calmer. I didn't go out today. I needed a rest recovery day. Just trying to get caught up on a few things, and I don't know, I'm still not there. I mentioned I got a letter in the mail from my dad. It was a class action lawsuit settlement agreement, and I think he's entitled to some claim, but the paperwork I need was from so it was like 2017 to 2019, so I'm having a hard time getting all the paperwork. So I was gonna try to finish that up today, but yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not even close. So I'm also getting no help from the organizations that might have the paper trail I need. So I found some papers that my dad kept around. Might be good enough. It misses, I think, a couple months from the date range, but I have most of them. So it might be good enough. And then, coincidentally, I got another letter in the mail for another completely different, unrelated class action lawsuit settlement for my mother. And this one is dated, or the date, or the legal case is dated from, gee, I don't remember, but I think it was over 20 years ago. It's like ridiculous. So I don't know what to do about that one. So they sent the letter to my mother, and I assume if they sent the letter, she might qualify. I've been looking for the paperwork. Some of the thing, so the company involved sounds familiar, so I think she may actually have a legitimate claim, but I'm having trouble finding the right paperwork because that was so long ago. It's ridiculous. So these class action lawsuits are a complete scam because basically the lawyers get all the money, and then the people entitled to any claims, they're probably all gone or can't be reached now, especially when they draw out the claims after 20 years, and then the lawyers get to keep all the money. I actually don't even understand what the settlement's about or the lawsuit's about. This particular one was really weird. I kind of understand the other one involving my father. I think I might be getting mixed up. There were actually several against the company my father was. So his retirement funds were in there, and they so one of the lawsuits, they were misappropriating fees. So they were charging fees that they weren't supposed to be charging. So that one's pretty clear cut. And so he's entitled to refunds on the fees. This new lawsuit, it's a different one, but it's the same company. So it's not surprising. There's another. There's more fallout. But yeah, this one my mother is tied with. So I think it's actually the same company again. So I think that's why. Yeah, I think there's a legit thing. So I think the reason my father was in it is because my mother was in it, and so when she passed, all the assets transferred to him, and then now he's passed, and so now I'm getting all the paperwork. so the paper trail is also going to be kind of complicated. So anyway, yeah, I need to file. So I think I'm going to try to file for some paperwork and then let their lawyers, reject it or process it. There's only so much I can do. I don't think I can get access to papers that far back. It's hard enough just to get papers related to my dad, because all the stupid privacy laws make it really hard for me to inquire, even though I've given them all the paperwork about the fact that he's passed on, and I was the power of attorney, and basically I had legal authority to take control of everything, and blah blah blah, and still too many barriers. It's really stupid. But anyway, so since I stayed home, I did finally refill the kibble containers. So I've been running low on the kibble I keep inside. I keep a giant plastic storage bin of the big giant kibble bags out here, and so I fill them when I need to. And we're getting low. I was planning to do it 2 days ago, and I kept getting busy the past 2 days, so finally did it today. So I thought I'd finally used up the Kirkland kibble. So there's two types. There's the Meow Mix and the Kirkland. And the Kirkland was closer to empty than the Meow Mix. The Meow Mix actually has still quite a bit in there. But I thought today I'd be using up the Kirkland, but there's actually still more in there. So I don't think it'll be able to fill up my container fully next time, but I'll be able to fill it up maybe half, maybe, I don't know, it's hard to measure, but so I got more kibble than I thought. And then per tradition, so usually Scruffy scampers away and then watches me from a distance when I start going into the bin. I think he can smell it. And then he's hoping that once I'm gone, he'll be able to pick up anything I drop. So kind of by tradition, I drop things for him, and I place some kibble in the carrier. Originally, I always put kibble in the carrier, trying to get him acclimated to it because he's afraid of it. He finally started going in the carrier just to sleep or keep warm a few months ago. So I probably don't need the kibble anymore, but just kind of tradition. I put some in there. So we got Scruffy's food now. So I have footage of both lunch and then after lunch, that's when I got the kibble. Lunch was pretty typical. Yeah, nothing extraordinary, I think. Oh yeah, I did drop the... So I brought out the kibble containers when I first came out because I knew I was going to refill them, and I accidentally dropped the... Or I put the containers on the table, and then as I was putting more stuff on the table, I accidentally knocked off one of the containers, and that scared Scruffy. Shouldn't miss your kibble container. It's the most important thing. Okay. So you can see the containers there. Knocked off the container. Sorry, Scruffy. Didn't mean to scare you. But eventually he came back, he ate his lunch, and then after he was done, that's when I got the kibble. And then, yeah, so he did watch me as I was filling up the kibble containers kind of from the distance, and then I left some out. So I put some in his carrier. I put some on the white comforter that's in front of his carrier. And then there's a couple, I think, next to the carrier. That's where I was pouring the kibble, so it just kind of naturally spilled there. And then I put a little extra kibble on the red plate when I went back inside. Kind of tradition. So he gets a little bit of extra kibble every time I fill the container, which is not that often. It's once probably every few months. And then after I was inside, he came around, ate the food on the plate. I didn't film that because he came back around just as I was closing the blinds. And then I was doing some stuff in the kitchen, and then he jumped up on the table, the big table, to get the kibble, and then I did film that. And he was hunting for all the kibble that was up there. So I think he was, I don't think his near eyesight's very good. I've read that, cats, very close up, cats don't see that well. And so I think he was using his nose to try to find all the kibble. And so, he was checking out the comforter, checking out the area in front of the carrier, and then he actually went in the... so I put kibble in both the front of the carrier and the back of the carrier. And so first he went in, just a little bit into the carrier to get the kibble in the front. And then I think he took a break, and then he went deep into the carrier. Historically, he's very defensive when he goes in the carrier. He's afraid of it. He used to bob in and out, so he'd keep most of his body out and try to stretch to get whatever's in there, and then he'd dart back out after he grabs it with his mouth. So he might not even eat inside. He might just grab it with his mouth to drag it out, and then eat it outside. Now that he's a little more comfortable with the carrier. Yeah, he's not doing that anymore. But yeah, at first though, it looked like he didn't want to go all the way in. But eventually, yeah, he did go all the way in. He even turned around inside, and it looked like he took his time. And then he came out, and then he went back in. So I don't think he got all of it the first time around. Yeah, it was. So there's straw inside the carrier now. So I did it to try to make it more appealing, to make it warmer. So I've read that cats like straw because they can kind of bury themselves under it like a blanket. It's nice insulation, and it's doesn't absorb moisture easily, so it stays dry even when the air has a lot of moisture. And so now that there's straw in the carrier, it's hard to find the kibble because it sinks into the straw, and you gotta pluck it. Pluck it. Um, I, I carved out little spaces so I can put like kibble in some flat area that doesn't have straw in it. But when I was reaching into the back, I wasn't very careful, so I was a little sloppy. So it might have gotten some kibble in the straw, or worse, might have been under the blanket. There's a thermal blanket in there too, and it might have gotten under the blanket in between. So it might have been like on the plastic. So I don't know if Scruffy had to go digging for it. I can't see it from the kitchen window. And Scruffy finally got everything. Kept looking around for more, but after a certain point, he was satisfied and he jumped off. And yeah, he used the orange chair as his exit again, so he jumped onto the orange chair and then off onto the deck. So anyway, so Scruffy's getting a bonus meal today because of all the kibble. So tonight's dinner is meaty pate with real Asian whitefish, more kibble, and rotisserie chicken scraps. I found another big chunk of fur up on the big table near the blue blanket. Don't know when Scruffy shed that one. Might have been there for a while. It's interesting how this fur doesn't seem to biodegrade. Just kind of stays there. I think I saw a sign at the park where I go biking telling people to not leave orange peels because they don't easily biodegrade. So the orange peels can be there for years. My friend once that had his own compost, and he was testing out all the things that claimed to be biodegradable. And remember, he came across a disposable plastic spork, or I think it was like a plastic spork, and it claimed to be biodegradable. So he said, "I'm going to put that in my compost. I don't believe it's going to biodegrade, but we'll see." Yeah, actually, I forgot to ask him whatever happened to that. My guess is, yeah, it did actually biodegrade. I didn't really believe it either. Okay, folks, thanks for watching. See you next time.